Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sleep Pharmacy. This is our 13th episode. I am your host, Dr. Chizuko Nakayama, a pharmacist and researcher of traditional herbs. Tonight, I would like to continue our conversation about the history of Japanese tea. Picking up from where we left off in episode 8. As you may know, matcha is currently a massive global phenomenon. Interestingly, China now produces the largest volume of matcha globally, and while it is highly affordable, their quality has been improving significantly. Recently, driven by popular Chinese historical dramas set in the Song Dynasty, there has been a rising narrative overseas claiming that matcha belongs to China. While its ancient botanical roots indeed start there, historical facts tell a completely different story. Tonight, I want to talk about the real story of survival, innovation, and deep pharmaceutical roots of Japanese green tea. Now, let's travel back in history to understand the dark past of matcha. The primitive concept of powdered tea certainly flourished in ancient China during the Song Dynasty. However, when the Mongol Empire invaded during the Yuan Dynasty, this elegant tea culture was heavily weakened. The ultimate turning point came during the Ming Dynasty in 1391, when the emperor officially issued a total ban on the production of compressed tea cakes. He despised the luxurious tea games played by corrupt aristocrats. Because of this imperial decree, the craftsmanship and culture of matcha completely went extinct in mainland China, shifting their entire culture 180 degrees toward regular loose-leaf tea. Next, let's look at how Japan took a completely different path. Fortunately, the Japanese monk Eisai had already brought tea seeds to Japan before this cultural extinction occurred in China. Consequently, Japanese culture became the sole protector of this tradition, preserving and refining the matcha culture for over 700 years without interruption. Furthermore, the vibrant green matcha we enjoy today is not just regular tea powder. It relies on the unique Japanese agricultural innovation called tencha. By covering the tea gardens with black cloth or straw before harvest, farmers block the sunlight to reduce bitterness and maximize amino acid like theanine, which creates the rich umami flavor. This sophisticated shading technique is a uniquely Japanese invention, not found in ancient Chinese texts. Even today, global farms adopt this exact Japanese method to produce modern matcha. Moving on, let's clarify a common misconception about the birthplace of Japanese tea. When people think of Japanese tea, they immediately assume uji. However, Historical records show that Eisai planted the very first seeds in Saga Prefecture, Kyushu, on Mount Sefuri, at the temple called Reisenji. This is the oldest authentic tea cultivation site in Japan. Later, these seeds traveled to Togano in Kyoto, where Eisai gifted them to a virtuous monk named Myoe Shonin at the Kozanji temple. This estate became the first commercial tea plantation, producing what was proudly called honcha, or true tea. From this sacred plantation, tea seedlings gradually spread across the nation, eventually reaching Uji and Ujitawara. Next, let's analyze tea through the lens of a pharmacist. Eisai authored Japan's very first medical book on tea, titled Kissa Yojoki, where he praised tea as the ultimate divine medicine, capable of balancing our 5 core internal organs: the heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys. According to traditional Eastern medicine, the heart requires a bitter taste to maintain its vitality. Eisai strongly argued that the natural bitterness of tea directly strengthens the cardiovascular system and clarifies cognitive focus. Zen monks, who endured incredibly harsh, sleepless meditation practices, drank matcha to maintain their concentration. Long before modern science defined caffeine, they utilized it as a natural performance booster. Additionally, tea was prescribed as a preventative medicine for cold and remedy for hangovers. In fact, when the shogun Minamoto no Sanetomo was suffering from severe hangover, Eisai presented him with a bowl of tea that instantly cured him. This event triggered an explosive tea boom among the samurai class. Next, let's examine how tea evolved into high society entertainment. During the Muromachi period, tea transformed into a wild gambling game called tocha. Aristocrats and warriors would gather for blind taste test, betting high stakes to guess whether the tea was the authentic honcha from Togano or an inferior leaf grown elsewhere. Now see how this chaotic gambling turned into a refined art. A great master named Murata Juko stepped forward to put an end to this toxic gambling craze. He declared that tea should not be a tool for greed, but a quiet practice to harmonize and polish one's mind, creating concept of wabicha, or meditative tea. Later, Takeno Jō refined this spiritual philosophy even further, eventually passing the baton to Sen no Rikyu, who perfected into Chado, the way of tea. Under the rule of warlords like Nobunaga and Hideyoshi, Moving on the Edo period, a major technological revolution occurred in Ujitawara. Born and raised in this region was a visionary named Nagatani Soen, whose legacy lives on the famous food company Nagatani M up until his era. The tea consumed by common people was brown, muddy, and bitter, as leaves were simply boiled down in a pot. Soen wanted to create an affordable tea that actually tasted delicious. After years of trial and error, at the age of 58, he invented the Aose Sencha method. This process involved steaming fresh green leaves and gently rolling them by hand, while drying them over a heated hearth. This breakthrough preserved in the vivid green color and sweet aroma, creating the modern green tea we drink today. Next, look at his extraordinary passion and longevity. To promote his new tea, Soen walked all the way from Ujitawara to Edo, tracing the secret escape route once used by Shogun Ieyasu. Along his journey through Shiga, Aichi, and Shizuoka, he taught the locals this rigorous hand-rolling technique. Historically, this required intense physical labor, rolling hot leaves forcefully for 5 hours straight, leaving the masters with incredibly muscular builds. When Soen finally arrived in Edo, he partnered with a merchant shop called Yamamoto Yama, and it became an immediate nationwide hit. Remarkably, Soen lived to be 98 years old. As a PhD pharmacist, I truly believe his long life serves as living proof of the exceptional health benefits of green tea. Today, he is enshrined as the deity of tea at Chaso Myojin Shrine in Ujitawara. Finally, let's reflect on how everyday citizens adopted this tea culture. Even after Soen's Green Revolution, high-quality sencha remained an expensive luxury for ordinary working-class families. To make their precious tea leaves last longer, citizens innovated by mixing green tea with deeply roasted popped rice, which gave birth to the fragrant genmaicha. They also blended tea with local wild plants such as dokudami or hatomugi. Hatomugi is Job's tears, utilizing beverage as an accessible protective folk medicine. Now look at our modern wellness journey. When you look at modern wellness blends, including the functional herbal powders we craft at my company, it is actually beautiful, full circle return to this ancestral wisdom. Blending premium tea with targeted wild herbs is a highly logical, scientifically sound way to support natural vitality. Personally, I love mixing our herbal powders directly into matcha, as it creates an incredibly smooth, mellow, and grounding flavor profile. To summarize tonight's journey, a single seed brought across stormy seas by Eisai became a secret medicine for meditating monks, a political tool for powerful warlords, and finally our daily comforting beverage through the lifelong passion of Nagatani Soen. This channel shares the surprising hidden facts of familiar plants from a pharmaceutical perspective, delivered quietly every week before you sleep. If you appreciate these stories, please take a quick moment to hit the subscribe button or follow us on Spotify before you swipe away and forget. Tonight, please sip some warm tea, feel the grand romance of history, and have a deeply relaxing rest. Thank you for listening until the end. Have a peaceful night. Good night.